Back on Course Record, I'm Michael Breed. President's Cup is next week at Quail Hollow, and Webb Simpson is an assistant captain on that team for Davis Love III. And earlier, I had a chance to talk with Webb. 7-time PGA Tour winner, U.S. Open champion, Players champion, and now an assistant captain with the U.S. President's Cup team, Webb Simpson. Webber, it's good to see you, my man. It's always good to catch up with you. I know, and I've known you a long, long time. I know what this means to you to be part of a Cup team, but being named an assistant captain by Davis Love, what does that mean to you? Not playing on the team, but being an assistant captain on the team. What does it mean?
Well, Mikey, it means everything. You know, growing up, Davis was my guy. I mean, he went to Chapel Hill. I know I went to Wake, but when I was growing up, it was all UNC. He wore the polo, which everybody loved the polo then. He was my guy. And so it was a dream come true to play for him in 2012 at the Ryder Cup. But this is like a whole new thing, a whole nother level that I feel so thankful for because, you know, I live here. Here's Quail Hollow right here. But, you know, to be part of his team, that executive leadership is a really big deal. And Mikey, I told my wife, I said, look, if I don't make this team and I'm not part of it, I don't know if I can stay here. I'll be going crazy, you know, in my backyard watching these guys play. So I'm glad I don't have to leave town during the President's Cup.
And by the way, Davis didn't even let you know that you were going to be the assistant captain, right? I mean, there was another guy.
So Tiger called me, and I shouldn't have done this probably, but I told him I had to call him back. And I called him back, and he said, hey, I'm putting my hat in for you. I want you to get the home crowd behind our team. And when I hung up, I'm like, you know what? I think he offered, or I think he is nominating me for assistant captain, but I don't know. I don't know if that was just he's going to encourage Davis to pick me, or if I'm on the team as an assistant. So a little confused, but Davis made it official a few days later.
What has it meant to you to be a part of these President's Cup teams, Ryder Cup teams? And then I know you and I have shared a lot of conversations about a lot of different stories, but one of my favorites is the one with you and Bubba Watson reading a putt down there in Australia.
Oh, these teams are the best. And Mikey, Jim Furyk in Melbourne, my first President's Cup, 2011, he kind of pulled me aside, and Jimmy said, you need to soak all this in. You're going to be nervous. You're going to want to win so badly for your country and your team and your partner. But he said, really soak it in, because at the end of your career, you're really going to remember your wins and your team events the most. And I took it to heart. I was supposed to go odds at President's Cup, and I was so nervous going to the first tee. I looked at Bubba. He had played a Ryder Cup the year before. I said, I'm not hitting the first tee shot. You're hitting it. He took one for the team. He hit the first tee shot for me. But he and I, that was kind of where our friendship started and bonded because I got to know him. I didn't know him that well going into Melbourne. And I realized one thing, that when Bubba gets nervous, he talks more. And so what you were referring to was on the 11th hole, we're playing Ernie Els and Rio Ishikawa. It's alternate shot. So Bubba drove. I chipped it to about 4 feet. And now it's his turn to putt, to make the birdie putt to win the hole. Well, all day I'd been reading his putts, and I stand over the ball to read the putt. And so I'm standing over this ball, and he's kind of bending down, you know, behind the ball to act like he's reading it, but he's not. He just wants to look professional. And I hear this whisper. He goes, hey, hey. And I look down. I'm like, what? And he goes, just putt it. And I said, what are you talking about? He goes, I'm so nervous right now. Just putt it. So I started laughing, and I said, buddy, it's left center, knock it in. You know, and he hit it left center, knocks it in. But that was where I got to really see, you know, Bubba's true colors of he's a competitor, but he wears his emotions on his sleeve. And I love that. You know, I love that about him.
Let's jump a little bit to this year that has been one of the most tumultuous years on the PGA Tour, and that is the growth of this live golf and the pressure that it's put on you outside of standing on a, you know, over a 4-foot putt to win a U.S. Open. What has this been like on a practice tee week in, week out on the PGA Tour, where everybody's sitting there, you know, wondering who's going to go and talking about, are you going to go and what are they paying and all that other stuff? What's it been like inside the ropes?
It's been a lot. It's all anyone talks about. There has been incredible amount of rumors. I mean, I had a very well-known analyst contact my caddy saying, "I heard Webb's going. I never even thought about going." And so there's been all kinds of stuff floating around, and it's hard to get to the truth. I guess it's just taking time this year. But, I'm kind of with Jay Monahan in the sense of just kind of hanging on and hoping no one else goes. And, the tour has positioned itself in such a way in these last few weeks to make the PGA Tour even better. I think someone told me the other day 18 of the top 20 in the world are still in the PGA Tour. I hope that's correct because I'm saying it, to you on your show. But look, we've lost some great players. Cameron Smith, Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson, Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka. But we still have an amazing amount of star power. I think most of the tour is tired of it, ready to move on. And I know we can't fully move on because Liv's still there, but I think we just needed to get through the FedEx Cup playoffs. We had an awesome ending with Rory winning, with how vocal he's been this year and for the PGA Tour. So I think as much as the tour went through this year, the tour has survived and gotten better and stronger because of it.
All right, let's talk about your game now going forward into 2023. And I know this wasn't the greatest year for you, and I know that you went chasing a bit of distance a couple of years ago that had an effect on your approach game, and those numbers kind of they fell off a little bit. Going forward in 2023, what kinds of things are you doing now to put yourself in a position where you might be able to get a little bit more clubhead speed, but at the same time, you're not going to use or lose the asset, which is the approach game as well as the putter?
Yeah, so this year has been kind of the perfect storm of all bad things related to golf. But yeah, like you said, the distance chase was what I thought was the right move at that time a few years ago, and I did get longer, but arguably it led me to injure my neck, and so I was out for 3 months, or two and a half months, I guess. And it's hard to come back from an injury. You're always thinking about, am I going to hurt it again? If I swing too hard, is it going to flare up again? But along with that, trying to hit it further, I got in a couple bad swing habits that have just lasted a lot longer than I wish they would have. And yeah, you mentioned my approaches to the green. They've dropped a little bit. They've dropped a lot of bit. And that's typically been the most consistent and strong part of my game over the years, the last 14 years. And so I'm working to get it back. And the word Paul and I are using is getting back to neutral. Neutral setup, not tilted back this way. Neutral at impact, not hanging on my right side. But it's taken time, and I didn't finish the year off strong, but I am seeing progress.
Have you got goals that you've laid out for yourself for 2023? Are you thinking to yourself, you know what, if I can win a couple of times and I can put myself in a position, I might be able to make that Ryder Cup team? Because being a part of that President's Cup team is a really big deal as an assistant captain, but playing on a Ryder Cup team is a really big deal, and I know that's an important thing for you as well.
It is. I've played 3 winning President's Cup teams, 3 losing Ryder Cup teams, and so if I could really have anything left, if I could pick one thing in my career to accomplish, I would say being on a winning Ryder Cup team. And so that's absolutely a goal this coming year. It's always a goal to make it to Atlanta. And I've played a little less the last few years. I'm going to play it a little bit more this year to try to position myself to just make it a little easier to get to Atlanta. But yeah, Mikey, I mean, winning is so much fun in anything, ping pong, darts, whatever it is. Winning on the PGA Tour is about as good as it gets. And so I want to get back in the winner's circle. I want to just have more weeks where I have a chance to win on Sunday, instead of kind of this, I have a chance on Sunday and then I don't have another chance for 2 months. I'd like to get back to kind of the golf I played 18, 19, 20, where it seemed like monthly I was right there having a chance to win on Sunday.
Well, my man, I can't wait to see what 2023 holds for you. I know you're going to have a fantastic time right there at Quail for the President's Cup, and it's always good to catch up with you. All the best to you and the fam.
Thanks, Mikey. Always fun being with you, buddy.
All right, brother. Thanks for everything. Always love talking with Webb. His honesty is fantastic. And I appreciated him talking about the focus on his game, what he's going to be paying attention to as Fortinet gets going here and this year gets underway. Now, when we come back, I'm going to talk to you about what you need to focus on, how you can improve your iron play. That's next on Course Record when we return.